Welcome to What to Do When, a podcast from real lawyers with real perspective, where we explore a variety of legal issues and scenarios. Each week, we focus on a new topic and discuss what to do when and if any of these legal scenarios ever happen to you or a loved one. With over 40 years of combined legal experience, our hosts offer their unique perspectives and insights on a range of real-life legal situations.
Hi, thanks for joining us again here at Critzer Cardani in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Jackie.
I'm Scott. Jackie, what are we going to talk about today?
Kissing under the mistletoe.
Ooh, holiday season approaching. What's that song?
I don't know. I feel like you were just singing.
Yeah, I do. I won't sing it again. I won't hurt our audience that bad. But anyways, yeah. So we're talking about, again, we've talked about this a lot, but there's been just a real uptick in sexual assault cases recently.
Well, you just said we're talking about kissing under the mistletoe. Is that sexual assault?
Yeah, is it? It really depends on the receiver sometimes, doesn't it?
It really is. The victim's eyeballs and the victim's perception is really what carries the day.
It does. And, and sometimes that can be problematic, unfortunately. But for instance, we're having a Critzer Cardani Christmas party, and we put up the portable. We just heard about these portable mistletoes that I guess you can carry with you or carry on your thing. So if I have a mistletoe on my hat, let's just say it's on top of I have some kind of hat for
Santa hat.
Santa hat with a mistletoe on top of it. Am I inviting people to kiss me?
Aren't you?
Aren't you?
Isn't it sort of common knowledge that that's what mistletoe is an invitation if you're under it?
Do you think that would hold up in court?
No.
Okay, I'm just saying. But, these are really important thoughts.
If I were the judge,
yes,
I would have a hard time, in truthfulness, if I'm wearing the black robe, I would have a hard time looking at somebody wearing mistletoe on their hat complaining that somebody kissed them. What did you want to have happen? What did you think was going to happen when you wore really the common knowledge thing that was an invitation for kissing?
Well, and, you run into it a lot of times, and we see it within two boy and girl decide to get in the back seat and engage. And
no mistletoe.
Yeah, no mistletoe there, but, where are the boundaries? Where are the lines? Who's in control of that? And it becomes a mess quicker than most people think. And I realize it goes on every day, all the time, and nobody complains, and but we deal with the people who do complain or don't complain or are charged with the complaint saying, hey.
We have to be wise as a young person, an old person. It doesn't really matter. If you are in a situation where you are, first of all, as the victim, and I use that word a little loosely right now, who has been persuaded to engage at any level in physical intimacy. I'm not talking about necessarily sex, but any kind of touching or what have you. That's a problem. And you being manipulated into that or persuaded into that is really what we're talking about. Now we're going to talk to the persuader or the manipulator. If you're convincing somebody that they ought to be in the back seat with you, or they should come stand under the mistletoe with you, or go to the bedroom at this party with you, that's the beginning of the problem right there. The consent is not persuaded.
Yes.
Okay? That's the brass tacks.
That's the brass tacks, and it's we are taught through TV, movies, everything that's
yes.
how it's all done, and that's my biggest problem with it. Especially the older movies. Man, you look at the movies in the 50s and 60s. There's such a pursuit element, and the girl's pushing the guy away, and she really wants to be kissed. And
then he grabs her.
Yeah, and
there's like this romantic piece to it.
Yeah.
And today you've
just committed sexual assault.
That's right.
And you're going to go to jail.
It doesn't matter if she was wearing mistletoe.
And I used to do a lot of groups and stuff, and I would talk to people, and they'd ask me those questions, and I'd say, look, at least have the integrity that if it's okay for Joe to do it, but you didn't like John because he was ugly, maybe it wasn't sexual assault, maybe it was something else. And if you didn't tell him no, I'm just saying, or you're inviting it, but you didn't get the right participant.
Oh, I see.
You got to be a little careful. I think that has a lot of lack of integrity to it when you're putting yourself out there, but you didn't like what you got, and so. But anyways,
that's the manipulation on the other side is maybe you wanted more, they didn't want more, and so then you said, well, fine, then you persuaded me to do what I did do, and now you're charged with sexual assault or sexual battery. I mean, just be aware that the victim also can manipulate and persuade, and then call out issues and call out charges really because of that. So you really need to be wise about who you're spending time with.
All right, let's go this. We're at a holiday party.
Okay.
All right. And you go up and you touch Miss Brown's breast. Have you committed sexual assault?
Yes.
Does it matter if you're a boy or a girl?
No.
Okay.
And well, the answer is no if she said, "Come touch my breast."
Exactly.
If she did not say, or in some way, that an ordinary, regular person could opine that she was inviting, then yes, that's sexual assault.
Well, that's the point. What about hitting you on the butt when I pass by?
Same, sexual assault.
Wow. What about your leg?
That's just assault generally.
See? But it is. It's the intimate parts. It's touching the parts that people hold intimate. And, we kind of do that by underwear, kind of that's
breasts, butts, genitals.
Yeah, just those things. But, the point is that we live in a culture right now that I think is starting to change a little bit. But when I was growing up, I say this all the time, and I think it's really important to understand, when we were growing up, I think you too, if we got in the back seat and we were making out, and she never did that, but I never did it either. I just heard stories. But, two people were making out in the back seat, and the boys, kind of the job was the man to kind of lead in the back seat, so he would try first base, and
oh, sure.
And the girl in first base was touching the boob, and you wanted to do something stupid like that. But the girl would be like, "No, you're not going there." And usually that was kind of the
shocked,
end.
"Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that."
Yeah, and that would usually end the conversation. Now, if you're in that situation and you attempt a touching and you touch, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you just sexually assaulted me."
There is a big jump from what it was to the, "Hey, no, I don't want you to do that," to, "I didn't want you to do that, and therefore it's sexual assault." Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The point today is beware the mistletoe.
Ho, ho, the mistletoe.
It will get... It will, in fact, find trouble with a wayward soul. You need to be careful and be wise. Just because it is the holiday season, people drink a little more. They get a little more free in their affection. Maybe the hug lingers a little too long. The hands wander a little further than they ought. Whatever the case may be, be smart, be wise, and
instruct your children. It is so important that they understand that boundaries, and that people have boundaries, and what is a boundary. So often with little boys, they're taught that touching a girl's boob is funny. It's not funny anymore.
That's true.
And just be wise. Let's talk to our kids about this stuff. We don't need them charged with a crime because they just were doing an innocent prank and they thought it was funny.
I mean, snapping a girl's bra strap in the back is also actually considered sexual assault. Like
Imagine.
My God, that did happen all the time when I was in school. All the time. And girls did it to girls. It was,
wow.
Beware. Teach your children. Raise gentlemen, raise ladies, and appropriate boundaries for all of us, including our children, our teenagers, and even grown people.
And also teach our children not to be victims, to say what they want, what they don't want, be bold about it, and be strong and say, what, that's not okay. And that's we need to teach our children that. We need to teach them, hey, you don't have to, be a victim. You can stand up. And I realize it happens sometimes, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying sometimes we can make ourselves, because we didn't say something. So say, talk, discuss.
And if you are a victim of sexual assault or sexual battery, speak up. There are places you can go. There are people who will help you. There are resources for you. This is very real. And these things do happen. There are people who don't stop when they're told to stop, who don't abide by boundaries, and those people need to be punished for what they're doing. So don't hide. Your story does need to be told, and also be wise. Be wise and set your boundaries, and do your best to not invite things that you ordinarily wouldn't.
And just so you know, we represent victims of sexual assault in civil cases. Obviously, criminal, the Commonwealth Attorney is going to handle it in Virginia, but that can be a very satisfactory way to vindicate yourself, especially, some wealthy guy tries to take advantage of you, it's a very, very real thing that we're happy to support you in, stand by you in, and litigate in.
Sure.
And help you get some resolution in that situation.
It's a tough subject, but there is help. We would love to be the ones you reached out to. If you, in fact, do need help on either side of that situation, you can reach us at info@cclawva.com.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of What to Do When. For more episodes, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, and we encourage you to check our archives to listen to previous topics. Tune in next week for a new episode and some fresh perspective from Critzer Cardani.